Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer Semifinals. We are presenting Game 2 between Doomtap and Acktheboker. Acktheboker won Game 1 when Doomtap's power, unfortunately, went out. I'm Drosy1. I'm here with Jex Reffy. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing good. We are super excited for this semifinal race we have. We've got, as we said, unfortunately won Game 1. Doomtap unfortunately had to forfeit, and the winner is going to face Jet in the finals. The loser is going to take Ninban in the semifinals.
Right, and so the other thing to note is that Doomtap decided to speed this race up. As the loser of the first race, he got to choose a setting to change, and he chose Fast Ganon. So we will almost certainly not be seeing Ganon's Tower this seed, unless somehow they're missing a Master Sword by then.
Maybe, who knows? So, but interesting. But yeah, we're just going to stick with straight up open mode, Fast Ganon. Like, should be pretty straightforward from what from what you would expect. I mean, at this point, these runners have run these different modes so much. Like, you would imagine at this point, a difference between Fast Ganon wouldn't really matter.
Other than no big key hunt.
Yeah. So.
But we do have the big key leaderboard in chat.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so... Ooh, Doomtap's getting some action on his menu, so I'd imagine we're about to get started. So, good luck to Doomtap and Ack. May the random number gods and your electric companies be in your favor.
Yes, especially the electric company in Doomtap's favor.
Alright. Well, I got caught off by the cursor, thinking that cursor was getting him ready to go.
Should be any second now.
Mm-hmm. So if we're waiting, so what is the sprite Axe using? I haven't seen that one before.
I don't know which link that is, actually.
Of course, I'm now going to go.
I'm not entirely sure which link it is on the left.
Oh, Vanilla Sundae sprite link. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and then he changes into chocolate and then strawberries. He gets the male upgrades, I think.
I see. Very interesting. Very interesting.
I personally like the soda can progression from 7-Up to Pepsi to Coke as they get the male upgrades.
Yep. Alright, well... Do you think... Oh, I saw a cursor.
There we go. Both starting in Sanctuary. That might as well have been the Sankheart, since they had full health anyway, so we'll never know.
And we got 2 pendants at Eastern and Desert, 5-6 Crystal at Hera.
I didn't catch which pendant was at Eastern. I caught that it was the red pendant at Desert.
Blue pendant, so green pendant's Dark World.
Okay. So not exactly the pendant and crystal layout that our runners are wanting to see, with, 2 relatively easy dungeons being pendants that they really hope they don't need.
Mm-hmm. Bombs in the tier 1 tree pull, so Doomtap's going to have an advantage on the bombs going into Kakariko.
Just a piece of heart in the mushroom spot.
And I couldn't see what was on Lumberjack, because Doomtap just, barely pixeled up there.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, but Ack got the Power Glove out of Thieves' Hideout. And yeah, Ack quit out because he did not get the bombs from the tree pull like Doomtap did, so he's gonna go and try to pull some bombs from under a bush near Haunted Grove.
Doomtap almost walked away from the glove. Usually when nothing's there, most runners will run around the glove or the item so that they don't have to spend the time with the pickup animation.
Wow, Ack sure got lucky. 2 bombs on his first try and he didn't even pull up all the bushes. So that'll get him most of the way through Kakariko, and he'll just hope that he'll find more bombs in there.
Well, a heart container on the race game will save you a bomb, because I assume Ack won't pick that up.
Yeah, I didn't think he would. And we don't need the library today either.
Okay, shovel and a hook shot so far. And there's bombs in Blind's hut, so Ack should have enough to get through.
Since we don't have any weapons besides bombs, that hook shot's really nice to at least be able to stun enemies.
Mm-hmm.
We are also nowhere near bottle vendor money, which is kind of unusual.
Sword in the chicken shack.
Lots of pieces of heart.
Some reading, a lantern to help you with the reading. So that tells me desert.
Yeah, not exactly what the runners want to see when desert's a pendant. And the lamp does also put all of Eastern except for the Boston logic.
Also, Death Mountain is open, but you can't get to Hera without the hammer or the mirror.
And we're also a cape or a sword upgrade away from Aga access, so the runners really don't want to see those right now.
So, TLDR, we could basically go anywhere in the light world right now.
Yeah, basically. And who knows what's at the shovel spot, too. I wonder if either of our runners will go for the Death Mountain play once they finish in CAC.
Ack might, considering he's going from south to north, and then right away he makes a fool of me and just saves and quits. So, you know.
So, yeah, we're also in the interesting situation that you don't see very often, that they've had to abandon the bottle merchant because there just weren't enough rupees in Kakariko. Oh, Ack's gonna check back of escape. That makes sense with the early glove.
Mm-hmm. Doomtap pulls out the shovel, strikes the earth. Hey, now you can pay off the bottle vendor. Key for Dark Crossroads, bow to finish Eastern.
Yeah, so we can full clear Eastern now. If Desert isn't boots locked, we can full clear that as well.
Doomtap gonna join Ack in Hyrule Castle, but go from the south. Looks like arrows are what we get from the stun prize.
Let's see what's in Dark Cross here.
Moon Pearl.
Well, that's a nice find. So, a hammer or a glove upgrade would get us Dark World without Aga. A sword upgrade or a cape would get us Dark World with Aga.
Mm-hmm. And that mirror gets us to Hera, so I would say at this point, unless like you're really trying to galaxy brain this, you're not doing Aga until you absolutely know you have to.
Oh, certainly. And that mirror also makes Death Mountain a much more attractive play now because you can do the entire Light World part of it. You can even see what's on Ether Tablet. And it'll also make doing Escape possibly better for Doomtap, except he can't go to the back anyway. He won't have that key, and there's nowhere else really close by.
He can get to Dark Crossroads, he just can't get to the back.
Okay, so he still will check Dark Cross to get his Moon Pearl by mirroring.
Alright, Doomtap about to check the boomerang chest and get a bottle. Axe gonna check Mini Trolldorm Cave, get a hoard of cash, some bombs, a red rupee, another red rupee, and a blue bee. So hey, we went from... Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say we now have 2 things to check in Kakariko.
Mm-hmm. I was also going to say we went from having no cash to a lot of cash. Not enough for Zora, but close. And more bombs. Well, I guess Doomtap's not going to be getting that Moon Pearl.
Interesting. That might haunt him for a bit. I mean,
or
even
he
if
might he might do the back here. That might be it.
Yeah, and even if he last locations it, I think he's probably figuring, since he didn't see the key in the front, maybe the key is in Dark Cross, so he'll do the back, and if it so happened that the key wasn't there either, he'd know he could skip Dark Cross.
That makes sense. Oh, hey, Titan's Mitts, we can get to Dark World.
So what do you think? Ack going up Death Mountain now? It sure looks it.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
So... yeah, he's overall done more checks, but Doomtap does have that bottle and that mirror.
Alright, we could not see what Doomtap saw when he did his lumberjack check. Let's see if we can see it better with Ack, just a piece of heart. Doomtap has his Moon Pearl.
So now, the only problem for Ack going up Death Mountain now is he doesn't have that mirror. So if progression happens to be in Tower of Hera, he'll have to take another trip, though at least he'll have the save point to restore back to.
Now, the difference is it looks like Doomtap's doing his Death Mountain play, is both of them are going to be able to do some of something, but not everything. Because Ack can't get to Hera, Doomtap can't get to Dark Death Mountain like Ack can.
And thanks to that early hookshot, we can even do the entirety of Hookshot Cave. Though, if there's something on Floating Island, the runners between them have the ability to get to Floating Island, but neither one of them individually can. So what do we see on Spec Rock?
More cash. Neither runner has gone back for the bottle vendor yet.
Yeah, they're probably waiting to see how much cash they can get. In Ack's case, if he had gotten that mirror, he would have money for Bottle Vendor, Zora, and Kiki all at once by getting that 300, but not yet. So Doomtap probably will grab that pile of change.
Yep, because he's about to do Hera. Does a map check. Turtle Rock is the green pendant, and Meyer is the other 5/6 crystal.
Which means we're probably going to find an early Ice Rod.
Yeah, that usually is what it means.
Actually, it looks from the tracker like Ack just did in the bottom of Paradox Cave, and in the top of Paradox Cave, he already has silvers.
Very nice. And we saw bombs on Ether Tablet. So, before we even could think about it, the game gives us the Ice Rod. Alright, small key in the basement.
Now, with the hookshot, the runners can do Hera pot clip if they choose.
Well, they won't have to, because I got the big key. I mean, you could still do it. I mean, I've actually... Go ahead.
If you're good enough to reliably get it your first try, it does save time. If you have to take a few tries, it doesn't so much save time.
Yeah, I've been practicing it. I've got, because it's like double pixel perfect, like I've got the setup for the bomb pretty reliable, but I'm still having problems getting getting lined up for the bomb to basically knock you into place.
I know that Ack is really good at the boot setup for it, but the runners don't have the boots.
Yeah, and see, the thing is that I didn't even bother like, I was taught the boots one. Honestly, I didn't bother with it, because it's kind of like, to your exact point, you know, it's nice when you have the boots, but it's tough to rely on it when you don't.
So we've seen one item so far in this dungeon, which means if Moldorm doesn't drop the second, it's in that basement, and the runners are going to have to decide whether they want to spend a minute or so taking a coffee break to see what it is.
And with only Fighter Sword,
yeah,
Troll will get angry.
They're facing the troll the way the game intended you to do it.
And there is an item in the coffee break room. TR is Ether, even though it is green pendant. And Doomtap is going to leave that item in the basement.
Well, considering Ack can't even get at that item to begin with, it's not hurting Doomtap for the minute. Did you catch what was on Floating Island?
No, I did not, unfortunately.
Oh, right. Yeah, Ack can't do anything else because he doesn't have the mirror.
Nope. There was the Ice Rod. Looks like we'll finally get the Bottle Vendor paid off and probably head for Skullwoods and Thieves Town.
Though we don't have the Fire Rod to complete Skullwoods, and Thieves Town is always risky without the hammer because you never know what you're orphaning in that one chest if it turns out to have an item.
Mm-hmm.
So Doomtap can only check Spiral Cave up here.
Yep. Hopefully we'll also get to see what Floating Island is. Bombs.
But yeah, Skullwoods, there was something that came out lately, someone did, like, generated 50,000 seeds and found that Skullwoods is more likely to have progression than any other dungeon.
Well, yeah, it's very fascinating to see what a lot of the community has kind of put together with this game. So Doomtap most likely is going to do South Shore now.
Chat saying that it was Big Dunka who generated those seeds and put together the stats, so shout out to him.
Nice. Very nice. Small keys, so you can basically go around. Now that V31 Advanced Logic has basically changed how you route Skullwoods a bit.
So we've seen nothing but keys so far in Skullwoods.
Mm-hmm. Big and small. There's a hoard of cash. Ack using the hook shot to go through the spikes and then get wall mastered to go right through to the door.
And the map means that they're...
Doomtap, you're going the wrong way. Titan's Mitts are the other way. Sorry, didn't mean to step on you, Drossie.
Oh, no, I was just saying that map means that there is going to be one item in the back, either with Mothula or in that one chest in the back.
Just $50 on Bumper Ledge. And Doomtap is going to walk away from the Titan's Mitts and head for the desert area.
Yeah, I guess he figures, well, Ice Rod Cave is one item in a remote location, and I have the book, so there are a number of checks here.
Quake and C-shaped house of Village of Outcasts.
What do we have on the ledge? Ooh, Master Sword.
Useful. Very useful. Also could potentially point Doomtap in the absolute wrong direction. Although without the hammer, there's still a possibility that there might be, like, hammer in Pyramid Ferry and you need Aga to get to it.
It's always possible until you find the hammer. And Ack has meanwhile found 2 of the 3 medallions in Village of Outcasts.
And we are boots locked.
Yep. So Doomtap could steal a small key, as Ack finds the red boomerang, if Doomtap wants to get the 2 items on the right side here, but it would be out of logic. Yeah, Doomtap's had enough of Desert Palace. He's gonna check a gene and be out of here.
And then that leaves him with Eastern and Ice Rock Cave.
And Ack is gonna Death Warp out without that hammer. He does not want to go to the back of Thieves Town.
So yeah, he heads out. Doomtap heads east.
Of course, there's always the possibility that the hammer is in the back of Thieves Town. We've had seeds like that this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But Axe heading for Shovel Game.
And Doomtap says nada after Sahasala's closet.
Yeah, despite having that full Eastern Palace access, he's gonna gamble that the 3 items in it aren't worth anything.
And instead, he's heading for Aga.
Hoo boy! I mean, as you said, we don't know where Hammer is yet. Though, I think both of these runners could probably do whatever that weird clip is with the big bomb, get it around, even if it's in Pyramid Fairy. And also, since Ack does not have the mirror, he's doing Jeremiah's World Tour right now.
Alright, so... Interesting state of the race right now. We've got Doomtap doing Aga when, at this point, I'm barring Pyramid Fairy needing you to lead to Hammer is not going to be necessary. Ack is on track in Dark World, but the thing is, we know the mirror is in Uncle's Tunnel, which he did not do, even though he did the back of Escape for the Moon Pearl.
And the mitts are in Ice Rod Cave, where Doomtap hasn't been, and both of those runners will absolutely need those items. There's no way they're finishing this seed without mitts and mirror.
Yep.
And Ack did pick up the 3rd sword upgrade we've seen, second for him in Hype Cave, so there was a bit of hype in Hype Cave today.
Just a tiny bit. Ack, I don't think, has turned in the shovel yet, so he's going to do that now.
And at over 1,000 rupees, he's not going to bother picking up that 50.
Nope.
But yeah, it's amazing how, choices to skip certain locations early on can lead to totally different routing on the parts of these runners. But with Doomtap going into Aga 1, how many blue balls do you think he's gonna throw, Jex?
Let's make it painful and say 10.
That would really cost Doomtap if the hammer turns out to be accessible.
Boots are from the blacksmiths today. So anyway, with Aga, the formula is pretty simple. First one's always a yellow ball. The next 3 can be randomized between yellow and blue. Then we get a bolt of lightning, and then we spin again. Hey, there's the first blue ball.
So Ack's gonna check the boots locations, Bonk Rocks, and King's Tomb. What are we at, 2 blue balls?
And
Flute and Bonk Rocks.
Toot! There's the flute. There's 2. And just 2 today.
Always nice when it's 2 or fewer and you only have 1 lightning attack.
And as a reminder, this is Fast Ganon, hence the hole is open, but you can't kill the pig yet.
Yeah, if you tried jumping in right now, he would call you a dingus. And if you continued the fight, he would ask if you had wax in your ears.
Meanwhile, Act's going to activate the flute, and we know the duck doesn't have wax in its ears.
Well, the good thing for Doomtap for having wasted all that time on Aga is he does have the mirror at least, so he will be able to do Smith Chain much faster than Ack did it. And we'll get our first look at Graveyard Ledge.
So Helior asking, what would we need to see to prove that Aga was right? So at this point, we know that there's just a piece of heart on the Lumberjack ledge, so that's not going to lead to anything. Realistically, at this point, we need the hammer or progression to the hammer, basically to either be on Pyramid Ledge or in Pod, that basically would have forced the runners to get to go through Aga to get to it. Because right now, for example, with Ack, because he doesn't have flippers, he can't get to the west Dark World the east portion of Dark World where Pod is. So that's kind of why we're saying right now the only way this Aga play can be saved is if basically you need, because of the lack of hammer, you can't get to east Dark World.
I'm reasonably sure, though, that Ack can kern jump, so if it does turn out to be in Pod, he will probably kern jump his way over there and grab it that way.
I mean, this is true, but I'm speaking from a logical standpoint.
Oh, yeah, right. If it's in Pod, then the seed expected you to do Aga.
Like, it's also possible that, like, let's say flippers were in Pod, and then the first, like, an Ice Palace or Swamp Palace is where the hammer was. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be the hammer. It's just what logically gets you to the hammer.
So Doomtap's gonna pick up his whole lot of keys. And that's what, our third item in Thieves Town?
Yep.
So either Blind has the fourth item, or the fourth item is sitting in that big chest that we can't get at.
Chad is saying it's only 2. I've been waiting for Ack to open his menu to see if he got the map. So there would be an item behind the big chest.
But yeah, so far we've just found garbage in Thieves Town. But that is Ack's first crystal half an hour in. Yeah, Shap pointing out, the big question for Ack is when he's going to get that mirror. And of course, the question for Doomtap is when he's going to get those mitts. And that will, when one of those runners finds one of those items, that will almost certainly put that runner in the lead.
I mean, it helps, but in some ways, you know, we're still missing flippers, we're still missing hammer, still missing Cane of Samaria. Like, there is, like, it will help, but it's not necessarily like a game set match. There's still things that need to be found.
Well, we finally saw it was on Sick Kid, just a blue cane named Brian.
Yeah, true. People asking in chat if hammer can be on pedestal. It cannot in this seed because you need the hammer to open Turtle Rock. Realistically, at this point, flippers maybe. That's about it that is left for the pedestal. Because you need Fire Rod for Turtle Rock, you need Cane of Samaria for Turtle Rock. If Ether can't be on pedestal because we know Turtle Rock needs Ether to get in. Same with Hammer, so it's basically flippers.
But Doomtap decided when he was up in Skullwoods not to bother checking the ped, and Ack without the mirror couldn't do it from Skullwoods, and he's not going to take a long hike over there just to check it, so we'll have to wait.
Alright, so with Ack having the boots, he's checking deserts. Right side showing us the big key and a compass.
So the second item is either in the big chest or on Landmo.
Mm-hmm. Boots were on Jeremiah. Sorry, Durossi.
Oh, I was just going to say, Tempered Sword and Silvers, it's going to be a quick Ganon fight when the time comes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Lambo has the item. And there was the map. Sorry, there was the map.
I was say the same thing.
Yeah. So we know. So even though we love our trackers and we trust our tracker Link Force Zero, there is the proof that yes, in fact, there is another item in the big chest. Who also points out that neither runner's done Eastern yet. I mean, that's part of the thing with Doomtap making the gamble on Aga was there was still the chance to do Eastern. Plus he had Ice Rod Cave open, which is where we know the Titansmiths are.
And Ack is going to go back to Landmo, which should at least be a pretty fast fight with Silver Arrows. But it's still like a minute to get back there. But he's going to see what that second item is.
Alright, time for Lammo on X side.
He's got the silvers out.
A 1. Ooh, missed on 2 of them. Gets second. Swing and a miss on the third. There we go. For butter.
I doubt Doomtap's gonna find that, but...
Yeah, you never know. We're still missing a bunch of items right now.
This early in the siege, it'll sure give Ack some quick kills, just in general. And this is also a good time to say, please do follow these runners. They're both awesome. I mean, they've made it to the semifinals of a tournament that started with like 250 people in quals. 128 of them made it to groups. 64 made it to brackets, and these are two of the only 4 runners to make it this far. So, yeah, you definitely want to follow both of them.
Absolutely. Doomtap having a not clean, but still good job on the blind fight. And Ack is going to head into the mire area. Mire, we won't. Bombos.
Okay, so he can do everything in Mire except kill Vitreous if he wants to.
Alright, we got Mushroom and Flippers.
Okay, so unless Hammer is in Pyramid Fairy, the seed did not want you to do Aga.
Yes, because now Pod is open. And yes, Pedestal is dead.
So Ack is gonna see what he can get out of Mire. As long as it's not a God Mire, it's not gonna cost him too much time, because then when he has to come back here, he'll have the big key and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that he'll have to go through this annoying room again the next time he comes in. Doomtap's gonna give us our first look at Cave 45.
Just a shield, which surprisingly Doomtap decides to pick up. I mean, most runners despise shields, but okay.
You know, it only just hit me Doomtap can't do Smith's Chain because he doesn't have mitts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes.
Yeah, it's alright. I mean, if he was really desperate, he could have mirrored, went back to the portal, and then, you know, went the long way, but clearly not worrying about that.
But Doomtap is about to get the Baconator.
Alright, so let's tease this out. Let's tease this out a bit. Pod is open, but without Hammer can't be finished. Same with Ice. Mire without Kane. We've been through Skullwoods. We've been through Hera. There is an item in the coffee break room. Neither runner's been to Eastern, sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying Doomtap had the book out. He was clearly thinking Bombo's tablet.
Mm-hmm. That's what he's going to do now. So, there's still a bunch of stuff to do in terms of trying to figure out where that hammer is and whether or not it would still... there's still that chance it can be on the Pyramid Fairy, but that's... Basically, at this point, we're waiting on Fire Rod, Cane of Samaria, and Hammer. And Ether. Well, no, Ether only if we need to get into Turtle Rock. Oh, and chat also reminding me there is the first chest in Swamp that you can get to without the hammer.
Which neither runner has the items to get to because Doomtap doesn't have that mirror... Doomtap doesn't have the flippers, which require the flute, which are in Bonk Rocks, which require the boots from the smith, which he can't do without the mitts.
Yep.
And Ack doesn't have the mirror.
And Doomtap heading for Pod as one of those spaces we have left. The funny thing is, I earlier was talking about how using the portal and whatnot. It just dawned on me, oh yeah, mids can't even lift the rocks. So we both made the same mistake.
So now I was just thinking, because of Doomtap save and quit there, that because he's beaten Aga, once he gets the 7th crystal, he will be able to save and quit directly to Ganon, so that'll save him a little bit of time when the time comes.
A little bit, but compared to the amount of time he spent getting that portal open, we're still to be seen if whether that actually pays off or not. Ack is gonna do flipper checks in maybe Ice Palace. He's clearly heading for the Zora area first.
And did not want to check Hobo or Lake Hylia Island. I guess he has the flute, so he can just, save and quit flute back to 8.
And this officially was not an Agaseed.
Yeah, not getting those mitts was costly because, let's recap. Mitts lead to boots. Boots lead to flute. Flute leads to flippers. Flippers lead to hammer.
Or you could be a jerk and just fake flipper and just get the hammer that way. That works too. Speaking of jerks, there once was a fish named Zora who gives you flippers in vanilla, but in Rando he sucks. And for $500, we did this stupid trek for one single arrow.
That is about the worst ripoff I have ever seen from Zora.
Alright, bombs on Lake Hylia Island. I kind of feel like Ack would probably do ice next. Words. Maybe he does ice. I don't know. With the hammer, he's got a lot of stuff open to him now.
Yeah, and with Bombos plus hammer, he can full clear ice. Though if he does that, it'll be interesting to see because, Matt gets his first bottle from Hobo, vanilla. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because if Cold Stare drops a small key, it means that the game was expecting you to have the Cane of Samaria.
Well, it doesn't matter because he's heading for Pod.
Which will give us the rare occurrence of our runners being in the same place at the same time this seed.
Unfortunately, one of them will be missing a key item to finish it.
But at least he can get through the rest of Pod faster thanks to that mirror. Ack will have to either hammer Yump or Death Warp. Or I guess if... Was the big key in the front? Did you catch?
I don't remember, to be honest.
If the big key's in the front, he can do Helma first and then finish his exploration at the big chest and just save and quit out from there.
I know it wasn't the bow lock side. I know there were 2 keys in the bow lock side. Speaking of which, it's a bow lock pod because there was a heart container there.
Our tracker link force is telling me it was bridge chest, so yes, it is in the front. So okay. Ack will get it. He'll probably then do Helma first, so that Dark Maze and Big Chest will be his final check, and he doesn't have to worry about having to Death Warp out of there with no mirror.
Yeah, makes sense. And a whole lot of nothing in Pod. So, where does Doomtap go from here?
Is he gonna do like catfish maybe? No, he's got the hook shot out.
That would be the thing that would make sense. So we saw that I saw we had a raid from Speed Gaming 2 after their races finished up. So let's do a quick recap. Titan's Mitts are on Ice Rod Cave. Doomtap is missing that. Mirror is in the Uncle Tunnel. Acktheboker is missing that. Titan's Mitts leads you to the boots off of Jeremiah. That leads you to the flute in Bonk Rocks. That leads you to the flippers in the Mire Shed, which leads you to the hammer in the Waterfall of Wishing. And now you kind of know why the race is how it is.
And that really is...
Oh! Wait, that still counted? It didn't go in
Oh,
the
you thought he missed?
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on you there, Karasi, but still, it's just like...
some definition of circle, you know? Oh, and Doomtap is gonna try Splash Deletion. If he can pull it off, he's gonna get that hammer.
Did he get it? He got it!
Wow. Well, that's one way to short-circuit that item chain.
And the rage slash... Yeah, buddy, you didn't have to do Akka. Well, he doesn't know that right now. For all he knows, the flippers could be in Eastern. Because again, no one's been to Eastern yet. Even though it is a pentagon.
And I don't know of any glitch that's legal in NMG that could get him to those flippers. Without finding the Titan's Mitts first.
And Doomtap's thinking like, okay, what do I do? What does this all mean?
When you've orphaned Ice Rod Cave, it's not something that immediately comes to mind this much later.
And that hammer pull means... I guess he's going back to finish Pod? He doesn't have flippers, so he can't do Swamp. Meanwhile, speaking of not finishing, Ack didn't do Helma early. He's now about to make his way to Helmasar.
The irony is, it'll be Doomtap's third crystal and only Ack's second, but I would say Ack is probably in the lead, but it still depends on him finding that mirror.
Yeah, so at this point with Doomtap finding a hammer, he's got Eastern he can do, which he has the mirror, so he can just mirror right out at Pod and do that. Swamp he can't get into until he gets Titan's Mitts. Skullwoods he's already done, so he's stuck on that. I mean, honestly, the hammer helps him with finishing Pod, but realistically, okay, so there's basically what Doomtap has left is the coffee break chest he hasn't checked, the Thieves Town big chest that he hasn't checked, and Ice Rod Cave. Have fun picking one of those three.
Is he really that last location at this point?
Acktheboker, meanwhile, he's about to finish Pod. Hammer allows him to do Hera. And then he can do Ice also, but he's still waiting on the mirror from the Uncle Tunnel to even be able to do Swamp. So, I mean, he can... Basically, at this point, Ack can get a little bit ahead of the crystal count, but until... We're still kind of in a point right now where both runner has to correct the one mistake they've both made. Or not necessarily a mistake, but just not check the one location that they haven't checked.
Get comfy, folks. This could be a long seed. And yeah, we still need the Cane of Samaria and the Fire Rod for no mode. I'm sure it's better for the runners if the Fire Rod shows up first, because that guarantees they won't need to go into Turtle Rock.
Also the Ether.
True, that kind of keeps them out of there. The witch is just buying drugs on the cheap today.
For chat asking about Doomtap's decision to not do Ice Rod, granted we don't know because we won't have a chance to interview him just yet. But specifically, we had early glove, book, and lamp in order to be able to do desert pending boots, which of course desert was boots locked. So the way Doomtap routed it was he went mini Trolldarm Cave, then went to the dam, and then went to desert. So we won't know until we actually talk to him, but I assume basically the way the item's set up, that was why he made the decision he did to route South Shore the way he did.
This is interesting. So Ack does not want to do Eastern. So, okay, he's doing Sick Kid now since he only recently got his first bottle.
Yep, and gets his Brian Cane.
Did you mention Spike Cave?
No, but that is a possibility. Ack is heading into ice.
I mean, I can't say I blame him. He's committed to not doing Escape. And honestly, that's one of the things you have to do to get this far in the tournament. You just have to, you make a decision, you commit to it. Sometimes it's wrong. In this case, it's wrong. More often, it'll get you through some tough matches.
So Doomtap's now going to finish pod. What's funny was I was having this thought in my head of how Doomtap's actually about to become ahead in the crystal count. But, in terms of Hera, I was about to say, in terms of Hera, you don't, Ack may want to save that for last before GT, but again, this is Fast Ganon. Saving off Hera before GT really doesn't matter, because once you get all 7 crystals, you can go straight for the pig.
Yeah, going up there, doing Hera, he hasn't checked Ether Tablet, and then doing Spike Cave.
And Ack hovers.
Wow. So yeah, there are 4 items up on Death Mountain for Ack, but he has to do annoying things like Hera Basement and Spike Cave to get them.
He also has, because he hasn't also, words, Ether Tablet. Thing he hasn't checked. We know it's nothing. And there's your cane.
Okay, so the runners really don't want to see Ether now.
Nope. Well, yes and no. Yeah. Okay. Yes. You don't want to see Ether, but that still would prevent you from getting far in Turtle Rock. You don't want to see Fire Rod and Ether before either getting your mitts or your mirror, depending on which runner you are.
This also does put Pyramid Fairy in logic for Ack. Now that he has the cane, he can finish off Meyer, and as we were discussing, he has Hera access. For all we know, that Fire Rod is in Pyramid Fairy.
Doomtap gonna go back up the mountain. Looks like his Spike Cave check.
And maybe Hera Basement. And Ack on Cold Stare. This is going to be pretty fast with the Butter Sword.
Yep, just get Cold Stare in a corner, 4 slashes, and Puffballs go bye-bye.
In about the amount of time it took you to say that.
Yep, and the cane, which was an Ice Rod, was in fact required to finish Ice Pal. Cane, which was an Ice Rod. Cane, which was an Ice Palace, was in fact needed to finish Ice Palace. Words are hard sometimes.
So now we get to see, is the Fire Rod in one of these 2 checks that we haven't seen yet on Death Mountain?
Ack is heading up the mountain. Or no, he just gets a health refill, flutes away, and is heading for Meyer.
You know, again, not that either runner individually has access, but it's in logic. Checkerboard Cave could have the Fire Rod, in which case we're not going to see it for a while.
Just a big 20.
Now for Spike Cave.
Oh! Doom! Wait, did he have a fairy? Yeah, he had a fairy.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, nearly full magic in the Cane of Burna.
And these mountain checks brought to you by Red Things. Not the red thing we wanted, but they're red.
Speaking of which, that also kind of precludes Spooky Action Glitch here in Meyer Basement. Actually, can you do it with Ice Rod, do you know?
I don't know, because I can't do spooky action, so I'm not the person to ask.
Chat saying no.
Alright, well... Let me think about this. Is there absolutely anything else Doomtap can do? Big chest in Thieves Town. That's about it. So this isn't a pure last location, but it's pretty close.
Oh, right, he can't even go ice because you need the mitts for that. Let's see how many rage slashes we get. And Ack, I believe, got a fire shield off of Vitreous.
Yep. So for those of you who are just joining us again, Doomtap did Aga to get Dark World access because he did not check this one location. Way about, I don't know, 45 minutes ago. So, hey bud, you didn't need to do Aga.
He just takes a few seconds to save and quit there. But yeah, that time that Doomtap spent in Hera Basement and Spike Cave is gonna be given back to him by Ack, I'm guessing. In any case, Ack needs the crystal, and that will put Pyramid Fairy in reach.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ack still has his own problems to contend with. Specifically, the fact that the Uncle Tunnel has the mirror, and he still hasn't gotten it yet.
But he's running out of locations.
Now, Thieves Town Big Chest still could have an item in it. So the trolls may not necessarily be done just yet.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what Ack has left besides these 4 checks and Pyramid Fairy and Thieves Town Big Chest before he's forced to do escape because he'll have last locationed it.
Well, he hasn't done hammer pegs.
Oh, right.
Speaking of which, Doomtap's doing hammer pegs. Ack is getting hair pot set up very interestingly. Wow! Wow! Not even using the bomb!
I told you he was really good at it with boots.
So good you don't even need the bomb!
No, that's one of Ack's specialties, the Harapot clip with boots.
Honestly, the way I was taught how to do it, I did not know you could do it that way. So that's why I was shocked to see how he did it, because that's the first time I've ever seen it. I've seen a lot of people get knocked by the bomb, but I haven't seen anyone set it up that way. Oh, Doomtap is stuck on Gary.
And he doesn't have the flute yet, so that is decidedly a soft lock.
Okay, Ack about to do coffee break.
And Doomtap about to get the flute.
Ack, meanwhile, doing some pot dancing. And also setting up a death warp, because again, he still needs the mirror from the Uncle Tunnel.
So really, Axe up Mire and Ice Palace. So the question is, how much of that will Doomtap make up before Axe finally gets the mirror?
Well, I've been thinking about something else.
What?
Given that we've checked everything else, either Fire Rod has to be in Swamp or Ether has to be in Swamp. Well, we haven't checked Checkerboard Cave, so there is that. Oh wait, Swag Duck Anthem, shut up, Jeff.
A mere hour 7 in.
So there is Checkerboard Cave, which Doomtap will probably show us here. But I'm thinking either Fire Rod has to be in Swamp or Ether has to be in Swamp to then put it in Turtle Rock. So I think the answer to your question is, does Doomtap do Swamp before Ice and Mire? Well, no, he wouldn't be able to go mode because Kane's in Ice Palace.
This is amazing. Ack respawned in Link's house, but did so that he could do Pyramid Fairy rather than so that he could do Uncle. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, yeah, he is. He's going to the bomb shop.
Fairy.
Sorry,
Has Mushroom been turned in? Yes. Alright, big 20 in Checkerboard Cave.
Which was also what was on Mushroom.
And this might be the Swamp play.
We have... Oh no, we saw Pyramid Ledge on Doomtap because of course he spawned on Pyramid after he beat Aga.
Piece of heart. Powder. Oh hey, dig and check Magic Bat.
Always a fun check. But first, the catfish.
Oh yeah! Neither runners check catfish.
No, Doomtap did. Remember you commented on his throw?
Oh yeah, that! I mean, this seed has felt like it's taken forever and a day.
So where will Axe save and quit to now? Is he gonna be stubborn enough about escape that he'll do Magic Bat first and Thieves Town Big Chest?
Well, we won't know until we see where he flutes to. He flutes to 3, so he's doing Magic Bat.
And possibly Thieves Town Big Chest. I wonder if he just plain forgot that it's open mode at this point.
Well, I don't know what else he has after Magic Bat, so if it's the Fire Rod, then things get really interesting. Hey, things got really interesting!
Okay, Skullwood's next. I really hope Ether is not in the back of Skullwoods, because if it is, Ack is probably going into Turtle Rock.
Spoiler alert, there's an item in the back of Skullwoods. Alright.
And it's gonna be a while yet, before Doomtap goes to Ice Palace, though he has not turned in the mushroom, so he could theoretically fake powder and not have to do Pyramid.
Theoretically. And that was something.
Yeah. Not even bothering with silver arrows when he can just do 2 tempered sword spins.
Alright, there's one item back here.
Fun fact, in the vanilla game, Mothula is immune to the butter sword.
Fun fact, he's not in Randomizer.
So it looks like Doomtap is going to ice now. He will get his cane, as well as his 6th crystal, and if Ack does not get the mirror soon, it is gonna be a race, or Doomtap's gonna take the lead.
He still has to do... Now, the problem is, because of the Fire Rod, Doomtap is still gonna have to full clear ice.
Okay, it was not Ether and Skullwood, so Ack is really limited.
I mean, he's got big... Thieves Town Big Chest. Or Uncle. It's really all he has left.
Has he done Hammer Pants yet?
He hasn't done Eastern.
Oh, of course, you say it and that's where he's going. No.
I call it like I see it.
I mean, the mirror's been sitting in Sphere 1 this entire time. If Ack had gotten it at any point in the last half hour, he would have won this race easily.
Alright, so let's think about this. Doomtap is gonna get his cane. Either has to Galaxy Brain and fake powder for the Fire Rod to get him to go mode. And then all he has to do is go mode Meyer and go kill the Moth. Where Ack, once he gets his mirror, he just has to go mode Swamp. So Doomtap is about to get his cane once he goes up those steps. And then it's really a question of... You would think Doomtap goes to Meyer. That would be the thing that makes the most sense. And then does he do Pyramid Fairy after that?
Ack, meanwhile, still has to circle around for the vanilla big key here, and then go all the way back. To respond to chat, Powder was on Pyramid Fairy.
Wait, is Doomtap just go-moding from here?
Did he find all 3 items?
I'm pretty
I don't actually remember.
I'm pretty sure the freezer room chest had cash.
Well, maybe he's just thinking, well, the fire rod can't also be in here.
I mean, he's got to be gambling at this point. I mean, the thing is, he knows at this point the Aga play did not pay off for him because this wasn't an Aga seed. So, again, if he loses, he's in the bronze match against Ninban. So, I mean, the only thing you can think of, he's got to be gambling at this point.
So that's crystal number 5 for Doomtap. I have to imagine he's fluting to 6.
Spoiler alert, he's fluting to 6.
So yeah, he's not gonna Galaxy Brain fake Powder.
And Ack is just saving and quitting. He's not even bothering with the fanfare. Okay, Ack, where are we going next? The right answer is flute to 4. We
almost missed the duck there. No, he's going to 3.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! He's going for the Thieves Town Big Chest.
Let's hope Ether's not there.
Oh, if Ether is there! If Ether is there! Fire Rod's on Magic Bat. Oh, he hasn't done Hammer Pegs. That's also what he could be doing. But would he also do Thieves Town Big Chest while he's here?
It's just amazing that he's so committed to not doing Escape, even though there are 5 checks there that he's doing all these one-offs instead.
Let's just be clear about something. We got questions for both of these guys once this race is over.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. If the big chest does not have Ether, is there anywhere Ack can possibly go besides Escape?
I'm doing the mental math in my head. As far as I can tell, he's done just about everything else. Let's put it this way, everything he can do, sans mirror.
And meanwhile, the clock is ticking until Doomtap gets that 5 crystal, goes to Pyramid Fairy, enters Go mode.
Well, he still would have to go to Magic Bat. And see, in his corner, he hasn't done Lammo. Which you wonder if he decides to go kill Lammo after he finishes Meyer. And
That's
it's
true.
a bottle. So he cannot do Turtle Rock. Alright. I think Ack knows where he has to go.
And let's see what sort of a reaction he gives us.
Remember, kids, Sphere 1 checks are fun. You should do them sometimes. Especially because otherwise, sometimes you last location items that at 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 11 seconds, you'd be in go mode a lot faster than you currently.
Fortunately for Ack, Go Mode Swamp is pretty fast. And since Doomtap still needs to go through the remaining chain to get the Fire Rod, I would still give Ack the lead at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically just got to go kill Argus and then go right for the pig. I mean, this logic chain was vicious. To review, Titan's mitts were at Ice Rod Cave. That leads to the boots at Jeremiah. Flippers are at Bonk Rocks. No, flutes at Bonk Rocks. Flippers are in Meyer's Shed. Hammer is at Waterfall of Wishing to then get you the Cane of Samaria, which we didn't point out is hammer locked in Ice Palace. Which then allows you to do the 5-6 crystals to get the powder to get the Fire Rod on Magic Bat.
So what's that, about 8 circles deep?
Something like that.
Yeah, so despite effectively last locationing the mirror, I mean, he could have done the front of escape first, but it would be silly to do the front of escape before Uncle. Ack it's still his race.
And if he wins this race, he has a date with Jet 82 in the final. The loser of this race will face Ninban in the bronze medal match. Alright, so Meyer is done for Doomtap. And he's heading for the big bomb.
And he'll have a bit faster of a time getting it up there since he beat Aga. He can actually take it up the way the game intends you to.
Mm-hmm. And chat, yes, this is fast Ganon. Alright, here we go. Ack just has to mow down some puffballs.
Doesn't quite get the 0 cycle, but still a very nice Argus fight.
Yep, and just gotta put a skewer in Argus's eye. Get that taken care of, wait for the explosion to go off, pick up some sticks, and that's 7 crystals, so it's time for the big pig!
And by the way, either 0 or -1 is the correct guess.
Well, technically, there are 22 locations where the Ganon's Tower Big Key could be in the basement of Ganon's Tower. We're just never going to know because they're never going to go there.
So -1 is correct because in binary, -1 corresponds to the highest number available. So it looks like Doomtap is going to get his go mode now from Magic Bat, but Ack will be jumping into Ganon at about the same time.
Yep.
Don't blink or you'll miss phase 1.
Butter, you just need 6 slashes to get through phase 1 and 2. And Ack is making quick work of those 2 phases and will be in phase 3 thusly.
Yeah, that was about enough attacks to get through phase 2 untempered.
Alright. Ack only gets 1, misses the torch, casts silver arrows. That's not necessarily going to be a problem, because now he can just go 1, 2, 3. Ack has it. Just has to stay clear of that bridge.
And that's why we call it Fast Ganon.
Exactly! So fast that Acktheboker walks in and finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 41 seconds, and moves on to the finals. GG Ack. So it is officially Acktheboker versus Jet82 for the finals of the tournament.
And let's see if we can get him in here.
Congratulations to Acktheboker. Welcome to chat and GG.
GG.
So I remember someone in chat asking, they were wondering if you were gonna like punch your uncle the next time you see him.
Who says I already haven't? No, I got questions. I don't know. It was really weird.
We have answers. We can help with this.
Listen, it was unfortunate. It was a calculated gamble. Somehow it didn't destroy me, but I felt like if you had a mirror early in this seed, you just steamrolled the seed like nobody's business. And I'm like, well, if the mirror is there, I mean, it's a cooked goose, dog. Like, there is no point to playing.
Yeah.
Did Doomtap tell you why you still won? Because he did get that mirror pretty early.
Well, I see the Agate Tower box, and that was not something I had considered in my calculations. I forgot that was available, given that the swords were all over in Desert, I think. Yeah, well, I guess you would have had 2, so he did it with just Master Sword, I think?
Yeah, because the thing is that you couldn't get to the third one because of the boots.
Right.
So essentially what happened was, early on, Doomtap went and did Mini Trolldorm Cave, and then because of the early book and glove and lamp,
right,
instead of going to Ice Rod Cave where the Titan's Mitts was, he went left and went to do the dam and then desert, and then getting the Master Sword there, basically he made the Aga gamble. And unfortunately for him, it did not pay off.
Yeah, it was close. It was close to
Yeah, no, you got a lot more in with what you had. You were able to follow the incredibly long logic chain to Hammer, and then to Kane, and eventually to Fire Rod. And I was afraid you were going to find Ether and start searching Turtle Rock, but it was a good thing Ether didn't show up.
That probably would have upset me a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. If you're gonna get your go mode from Uncle, I gotta count my blessings. I probably got a little bit of a steal in this one. There was literally no point in the race where I thought that I was winning. Once that mirror didn't show up and I had done everything, I was like, well, this isn't good.
Oh, Doomtap's doing Master Sword spins on Ganon just because at this point.
Hey, why not? I mean, why not?
I mean, it's your swan song, right? Might as well go out with some panache. And it was very well thought. I mean, this is gonna be, within 5 minutes all told.
Which pretty much came down to that Akka play. So, Doomtap has Ganon down.
Yeah, I imagine too if he didn't get the mitts, that put him off his boots and his flute for a while, so he was lacking kind of that movement. But man, not having the mirror the whole entire game was really awkward as well.
Yep. Well, Doomtap has finished with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 2 seconds. GG's to Doomtap. Honestly, the way this seed played out, you got it just the Titan's mitts and the mirror. That just kind of was what really kind of evened out this race. So I guess the question was it intentional that you were leaving Uncle for so long, or what was the thinking there?
Well, like I said, I basically had a path to every item you needed to beat the game, but the mirror. So I just kept, riding along, having a good time. And then no mirror was there. And like I said, I was just thinking back. I was like, if I was ahead, it was like maybe because I got the boots from the Smith and all of that. But if you had the mirror early, I felt like you would have gotten funneled to basically everything in the game and you would have gotten there a lot faster. It really didn't make sense for me to go get a mirror from the Uncle. And I feel like if he doesn't get trolled by the mitts, he probably wins. He wins a lot faster. But I didn't think about skipping mitts and doing Aga. That wasn't a hedge case scenario where I might be okay.
Yeah, anyone who would have gotten the mirror and the mitts both early on, it would have almost certainly been a jet seed.
Yeah.
But a win's a win, right?
A win's a win. I will say, from Jet's perspective too, if he was watching this race and, saw what I just did, I would be very happy to play me, so.
And you're going on to the finals now, so that's pretty awesome. As I recall, this is your first time even past the round of 32 in a tournament, so.
Oh yeah, and these, I haven't historically been known to do very well. I typically do very good in the qualifiers, and then do some scrappy groups. But brackets, I've always been dumpstered pretty bad. That's all right though. I don't know. I'm surprised I made it past. Honestly, I was surprised once I beat Megawatt, and everything else has just been a blessing since then. I'm not even really trying to think about it. It kind of seems weird that it's the finals. It kind of seems weird that is me, but I don't know. It's just one game. Everybody's really good in this game, so.
You did, after all, beat the person who beat the winner of the last two tournaments.
Yeah, they both were.
It feels like ages ago that you and Sabo were playing each other and that Sabo took down
I was just
Andy,
a young boy back when me and Sabo had that brilliant match where I was thinking about that this seed too. I was like, oh, of course, it's always the mirror game 2 that gets you. Oh, Lord. I don't know. I really got no words for this one. I have no words for being in the finals. Man, it's just really fun. I'm happy to play. And this series was kind of, I don't want to say meaningless because that's a bad word to put it, but I say it in the sense that there was a bronze match too. So regardless what happened in this series, I got to play 2 more games. There's nothing more you could ask for, in my opinion, if you just like playing.
And Doomtap, despite a tough loss, does get 2 more games as well.
Speaking of which, check talking with him in SRL chat. His internet's not doing too well, so he wasn't going to interview. Talking with him about the race, he basically said that he got a lot of his wins in the earlier matches by clearing more thoroughly, and so with what happened with him with the Titans mitts was basically that's what it came down to, just because of the fact of just clearing. But again, as I said to him, like make it this far, he's still to make it this far. He did very well in this tournament, so GG's to him and to you, Ack.
Thanks.
No matter how it turns out, there is no shame in a Final Four finish.
Absolutely not. So, all right. Well, Ack, any final thoughts before we wrap up shop here?
No, I got no thoughts. Honestly, again, I'm shocked. So that's I don't even have no idea what just happened in this heat. That was insane. But I mean, I appreciate the commentary tracking, restream. As always, guys, I will see you with 2, maybe hopefully 3 awesome races soon.
We will certainly look forward to that.
And shoutouts to Ninban in chat, who will be facing Doomtap in the bronze match at some point in the next few days.
And again, it will be Acktheboker versus Jet82 in the finals. So thanks to Ack and thanks to Doomtap for putting on quite a race again. Please be sure to get both of them follows on Twitch for that electric race they gave us. Because again, as much as Ack kind of had a lead with the fact that the mirror was the item he was missing, I mean, it was still if Doomtap doesn't make that Aga play, that race was a lot closer than what it turned out to be.
Yeah, well, if Doomtap doesn't make the Aga play, he finds the mitts in Ice Rod Cave eventually and probably wins.
Probably. So, again, one check just can make all the difference. So, but want to give a shout out to our tracker, Link40. Did a great job keeping track of items and keeping us in check as we've been going along. Shout outs to the restream and the volunteers behind the scenes at the speed gaming community and the tournament. We don't have details on when the races are going to be, because again, we just found out who the matchups were going to be. But keep track of the schedule to see when those are going to be. And Drosy, it's always a pleasure commentating with you, and can't wait to do it again.
Likewise, and just a good time to remind you, also give these speed gaming channels a follow. They're great for having hosted really a ton of matches this tournament. We have this main channel and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, and if you follow them, you'll get notifications about when the finals and bronze matches are going to be, because I'm sure they'll be all restreamed up here on Speed Gaming.
Especially because starting in March, we will have the ALTTPR League Season number 2, which had a lot of zaniness, but we are going to have 64 teams in the league. I'm on one of them. I don't know how well I'm going to do.
Yeah, and we'll be kicking that off here on Speed Gaming on Wednesday, actually, which should be right after this tournament finishes. So, yeah, finish one big ALTTPR event, move right on to the next one.
Absolutely. So, well, for Acktheboker, for Doomtap, for Link40, for Drosy, I am Jex Refi. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys are the reason that we get to have all this fun on the Speed Gaming network of channels, and we'll see you all next mission.